I made $12,000 shorting crypto the last 2 days, and it should have been 50,000. So I'm going to show you guys exactly the trades I made and why I took them so you guys can do the same thing yourselves for free. Here's my P&L from last night on my Bitcoin short, which I low-key should have just held. My original short was at 115. I don't know why I closed that. My original Solana short was at 236. I should have never closed that. But here's P&Ls from the other day. Now I'm going to discuss exactly why I took these trades. As you can see, I have my stop loss set with my potential take profit set for my risk to return and the reason why I took the trade. You can see that this is the Solana chart and we are holding this good trend line right here. This is the 250 high with a lot of sell demand. Now we're going to move down. Here is the trend line. We're bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. We break through, we come up and retest that line. So I'm gonna bring my stop to the highs. Again, trading Solana, trading Bitcoin is not something you wanna do every single day. It's something you wanna wait for an A+ setup, which I did have right here after we broke this support line and we plummeted. I wasn't expecting a $23 drop in 1 hour on Solana, so I did close prematurely. You're never mad taking profits. But as you can see, we flash crashed down, found a support and pulled back up. And the reason I took my Bitcoin short last night is we did close bearish on the daily candle. And I did know that if we closed below 113.6, we were most likely to have a week of sell-offs. We failed to reach that key support level. So the second the daily candle opened, I waited for it to form its top wick and then pull back down, confirming our bearish entry. I entered right at the top of this candle and it fell all the way down to 111.7. If you want to swing trade crypto, it's very different than trading the NASDAQ, which I'm also learning how to trade NASDAQ on funded accounts. And then here with my Solana trade, I did know that 230 was a big range of support for buyers. So I was most likely to catch a move down to at least around 130. It did end up moving more, but profit's profit. But a lot of the times what you'll see is mass consolidation before a big manipulation. So with crypto, it could take days to even a week to find your prime entry point, but it does pay off. If you want my signals, you can just join my Discord. I tell people when I'm entering trades, but using that strategy that I showed you guys is how you should be able to turn profitable, mitigating risk and maximizing reward. My risk to make the $12,000 was $500. So only risking 500, I made 12K, which would have been 50. What leverage trading platform do I use? Which exchange? I'll tell you guys which one, why I trade on it, and why I think it's the best in my opinion. It doesn't really matter what the fuck you use to trade on. However, the reason I like mine is it's non-KYC, meaning you don't need to provide an ID in order to trade on it. So nobody knows whose account it is. No reports, it's not linked to your bank account. Those things are super beneficial. You can also use leverage amounts that you normally would not be able to use on KYC pages. KYC exchanges, my bad. The exchange that I use is Blowfin. If you go to my page, you can find how to get it right here. I really like the way that you can just favorite your favorite leverage trading positions. So it's always there whenever you open the app, you can see the prices. And the main reason why I really like it is they give you big deposit bonuses. So if you deposit $7,000, you get $1,000 for free that they give you. So you can essentially trade with more money than you even had in the first place. You can also join my Discord where I give all of my signals telling you guys when I'm buying, when I'm shorting, whatever. For example, when I took my long position on Sol at 238 and closed at 244, that's what I told everyone to do. That one paid off huge. I took this trade the other day. The daily candle opened. We were clearly bearish. I waited for a retest to form the top wick on the 1 hour candle. The second we went back to the bottom of the candle is where I shorted and caught a massive move down. You can see sold, bought. So I was able to catch a $4,000 move, making roughly $2,000 to $3,000 per $1,000 that it moves. The reason why I really like leverage trading is it is dangerous, obviously, because you can lose more money, but you can also make a fuck ton more money. So for example, if you're using 30x leverage and you're selling or buying, it's the equivalent of buying or selling 30 times the amount that you're putting on the line. So for every dollar it goes down, you're making 30 times more than you would have had you just sold on 1x. Is the crypto bull run over? I'll be straight up. There is always the potential that the bull run is over. I don't think I'm confirmed that the bull run is done until Bitcoin falls below 92,000. There's essentially a big fall off at 92,000 down to like 60 to 70,000. 6, 7. Until we break 92K, I'm still bullish. I do think that we're having a short-term pullback, potentially a shakeout. There's a lot of liquidations, like over $1 billion in liquidations for exchanges to take at $107,000. Bitcoin did fall to 110,000. We are forming higher highs and higher lows on the Bitcoin chart. Since the most recent bottom was 107, until we break that, we are not breaking structure. However, I do think that we experience more sell-offs, potentially to that 107 range, by the end of September. Solana fell from 250 to 204. I caught the short at 237. And last night I was going to long it at 206, but I did think we were going to see 195. My eye is twitching from not sleeping. So long story short, just me and my dog chilling. Look at me. I love you, buddy. Long story short, the bull run most likely is not over. I think that the end of the bull run is most likely the beginning of 2026, most likely January or December. October and November are historically good months for crypto. And if we do get another rate cut, which is most likely becoming factored into the market soon, I would not be surprised to see Bitcoin go near all-time highs again. However, the people expecting $250,000 Bitcoin, I do think they're smoking dick. There is an incredibly high demand zone for Solana at $250, so it's not unlikely to go up and see that again. And if you look on the chart, there is a 4-hour fair value gap at $228. So I would not be surprised to see Solana pump to $228 and then fall back down to take out some liquidations before moving back up. Obviously, this is all speculation just based off what the chart is telling me. It can go either way. It can go up from here and not stop, or it can go down. But just remember, the chart does not go straight up and the chart does not go straight down. They need to come down, fill demands in order to go higher, and they need to go up and fill demands in order to go lower. However, it does look like buyers are exhausted for the bull run right now. Keep in mind, only 7% of the population really knows about crypto. So until that number is like 20 to 30% of people that are knowing about crypto, not invested, I don't think we get those massive parabolic runs. I do think that Bitcoin could be $400,000 to $500,000 by mid 2030, 2034. And when I say that only 7% of the population knows about crypto, you guys have to remember, you live in the United States most likely, and you're looking on a US scale. You have to remember there are a lot of places that don't have access to social media the way we have, news the way we have, internet the way that we have. And old people are holding crypto back because they're so used to normal stock gains that crypto is a foreign concept to them. I literally have a conversation with a woman in my building telling me that crypto is a scam. And I'm like, bitch, are you fucking kidding me? Do you understand that my crypto portfolio has outperformed your stock portfolio of what you'd make in 20 years, in a year and a half? But that generation is so fixed on stocks and homes, real estate as assets and not crypto, that until that generation does start to, no longer exist, and the younger generations that are more bullish on crypto, I think we need another 10 to 15 years to really actualize what crypto could be for the world. The other problem is the security factor. Your bank account is FDIC insured up to $250,000, and you also have backing on drains and if people hack your accounts. There is none of that in crypto, zero. If somebody gets into your account and takes all your money is gone. There's no names attached to wallets, your money's cooked. So until that problem is partially solved, which will be very hard because crypto is decentralized, that's a big holdback on it because people are afraid to put their money in something that could disappear. You see people all the time like Cupsy, who's an incredible meme coin trader, probably the best of all time, well-respected in the space, got wallet drained for $500,000. As of right now, I am still fully liquid. I have no money in the crypto markets. I maybe have $20,000 tops of Solana, which I will most likely stable if we do get to 228, and I'll just use that money to leverage trade. I do think right now leverage trading is the way to go. I don't think that holding spot is the way to go, because with leverage trading, you can make money on the way up and the way down. With spot holding, you only make money on the way up and you're 1-to-1. So $1 up is $1 for you versus leverage trading even on the low end, $5, every $5 for you is $25 for me. Last year, I set a goal for myself to not have sex for a month. Good news, I accomplished that goal. Bad news, it's been a year. For many reasons, some good, some bad, I'll get into that. But the closest thing I've had to having sex in the last year was last night at the casino when I paid $100 for an hour-long massage from a 40-year-old Latina. She was lifting my shirt up, rubbing my back. She wanted to fuck. playing with my hair. She wanted that shit. But the closest thing I got to fucking was getting violated at the casino for $3,000. So I guess it was a $3,000 massage with Diet Coke. All of that aside, the reasons and why I think it was the best decision I've ever made to try to extend to a year. I had a serious problem with finding self-worth in the way that other people viewed me and hot Instagram girls wanted to have sex with me. I wanted to better myself. I wanted to make more money. I wanted to really lock in with the time that I have, because I'm not going to be posting on social media forever, so I should really make the most of it. I also wanted to get a lot closer to God, and you can't do that when you're giving yourself out to a bunch of people for no reason. Another reason was I was fat and had a buzz cut, so nobody really wanted to fuck me anyway. But I can't stress to you guys enough about how being abstinent can really change your life. Setting yourself and your goals on being better, making more money, being more fulfilled, and building an actual reason to wake up every morning, instead of just thinking, damn, like, I'm trying to get some pussy this weekend, so I'm gonna go to the club, blow a bunch of money, stay out late, do, drugs. If you are a young man, I recommend you try this for a prolonged period of time. Get closer to God, pray, overcome lust, stop beating your shit. You could be 10 times better than you are right now, but you have to give up the things that you really enjoy and do the things you don't enjoy in order to get better. You don't grow in comfort, you grow in discomfort. First step for you, 3 likes a day max on Hinge. And with this all being said, I'm now taking applications. For weeks now, I've been telling you guys to sell all your crypto because the economy is cooked. Sell your stocks if you don't plan on holding them for the next 20 years because the economy is cooked short term. And everybody called me an idiot. September 3rd, September 9th, September 15th. I told you guys to sell all your crypto if you haven't already. Solana was $250. Now it's $98. Bitcoin was $117. Now it's $108. Ethereum was $4,900. Now it's $3,800. Tesla's down 5% today alone. The S&P 500 and the NASDAQ will be suffering drawdowns. They already are. What you guys are not understanding is I might be some washed up gym bro that used to be fucking big, but I have a lot of money now and I want to make sure that I continue to make a lot of money and protect my money. And right now, the stock market and crypto market is not where I want to hold spot currencies. It's where I'd rather leverage trade in order to have more position and more upside without risking losing my money and holding it to the downside. With leverage trading, you can make money up or down. On top of that, if you look at the Google Mortgage Calculator or the Google Mortgage Indicator, it shows you guys that in 2008, 2009, we had the highest searches for Google for mortgage assistance. It's at the same exact number now. Flashing red light telling you guys that too many people are looking into getting into the housing market while it's crumbling. The Fed is also cutting basis points by 25 to 50 points, also showing that they are in fear of stagflation, a recession, a pullback. What I was telling you guys before is that when the Fed cuts rates, it's already factored in at a guess of what the rates are going to be. So when Solana was $200 and we were expecting a 50% or 20 point basis cut, we got the 25 point, people bought the rumor and sold the news. The second we got it, the market's dumped. I told you guys this is exactly what's going to happen. Short-term rally, day or two, but after the cuts, and then a continuous fall down, because the people who have money want to keep their money, they want to make their money, and they're going to sell when retail is buying. They might tell you to be blindly bullish right now, but you should actually be pretty fucking bearish. The levels I'm looking at on Bitcoin are 106.5 thousand, 92,000, or 106,000 all the way down to 92,000. If we break 92,000, the cycle is done most likely for the next 2 years before we start to find a floor and rally back up. When I told you guys that Bitcoin was going to be 50,000, 60,000, you all told me that I was an idiot again. We will see who is right. But saying the bull run hasn't even started yet is a completely irrational thing to ever fucking say. Bitcoin was 125,000, Solana was $157. Solana's $250, Bitcoin's $110. If that doesn't show you that altcoin season has started, are you blind? Look at the chart. We've jumped $100 on altcoins when Bitcoin's down 10K. Gold's at an all-time high, Nasdaq's at an all-time high. All of these things are all-time high. Russell 2000 index is at an all-time high as well, about to break it. Housing market will have a crisis. You'll be able to get a home in 2 years for significantly cheaper than you can get it now. I wouldn't be surprised if houses fall off 30% in value. The US dollar has deflated 10% in the last year. So if you had $1 million in your bank account, that money might still say $1 million, but it's only worth 900,000. You don't notice inflation on the front end. You notice inflation on the back end when you're trying to buy things and the prices are significantly higher for the money that it used to be. So when I tell you inflation is 10%, don't expect your bank account to decrease by 10%. The buying power in your bank account decreased by 10%. What you also need to understand is the US dollar is not backed by anything. They print infinite amounts whenever they need it, and it doesn't actually hold any fucking value. Yes, it holds value now for you to buy things because that's the currency that we use, but it's not backed by anything. It could literally crumble tomorrow. The Fed is a completely unregulated industry. Also, on top of that, with all this crazy fucking political shit, especially like 2001 with the Pentagon, trillions of dollars going missing, that doesn't happen for no reason. They know something you don't know. They're hiding something they don't want you to know. But if you were actually smart, you would have at least looked at the chart and thought about what I was saying 3 weeks ago when I told you guys to sell at literal all-time highs relative. When everybody is blindly bullish, you need to be bearish. Euphoria is a real fucking thing. When the markets are going fucking crazy and everybody thinks it's just going to continue to go up, it's going to come down, and it's going to come down hard. When they say the bigger they are, the harder they fall, it's a real fucking thing. When your fat, ugly friend falls down the stairs, it makes a lot more noise than when your skinny friend falls down the stairs. The same thing happens when massive markets fall. They take the stairway up and the elevator down. So you can doubt my intelligence all you want, but the numbers are there. I hope you watch this whole fucking video because it will probably save you a fuck ton of money. Somebody just crashed into my boy's McLaren 720S. They're going to jail for a long time. Hit and run. Fucking shit. There's the McLaren. Got my M4 in the back. We were going to the casino. Got $2K in my pocket. I cracked a Hard Rock last night for $7 grand from $1K. There's my whip. Damn, your boy's lean. RIP McLaren. That thing fell off too when they hit us. By the way, I did smack 55K on a slot, so I'll buy my boy a new McLaren. No, I won't. I'm cheap. These are the two situations I see playing out for crypto this year, so pay attention. The first one is if Bitcoin breaks 106,000 and does not hold and push up strongly from there, we will most likely fall to 100,000. And if we break that 98 to 102,000 range, the next stop is 92,000. If that is not a turnaround point at 98 or 92, 98, or 106, the cycle, in my opinion, is done. If Bitcoin breaks 92,000, it is going to free fall down to back to 50 to 60,000 and in that range, and then we will have to wait a prolonged period of time for the next rally. However, if Bitcoin is able to hold 106.5 thousand, we will see on Monday when the stock market opens, most likely heading into October. September is known as a down month in crypto regardless. That's why I've been telling you guys since the beginning of September that I'm looking for shorts here, which I've been taking all month. Do not fight the trend. Do not start putting in long positions, trying to catch the falling knife and guess where they're going to bounce. That's not what you're supposed to do. What you're supposed to do is wait for a clear correction, a retest to roughly a 50% from a smaller time frame range, and then we will continue upwards. If Bitcoin is able to liquidate the people at 106.5 thousand, which does not make sense for the markets to move up without liquidating those people, in my opinion, because that's how the exchanges are going to make the most amount of money, then we are going to push up. However, all-time highs on Bitcoin is something that I'm low-key doubting. I high-key do not think Bitcoin will be able to push higher than 125,000. The main question you need to ask yourself is, yes, there are people to buy there, but who is going to buy there? I personally would never buy Bitcoin at $100,000, $110,000. I would wait for a correction because I know that we are not going to break the 4-year cycle chain on Bitcoin and we will have a correction. Second scenario I see playing out, especially for altcoins, is if Bitcoin is able to hold that level at 106.5 and get a strong rejection upward with a lot of buying pressure. Going into October and into November, I could potentially see altcoins get their run. Everybody saying that altcoins have not had their run is full of shit. Solana was $8 and it went to $295 and then fell back to $95 and pumped back up to $255. Saying that altcoins have not had their run is insane when the last time Bitcoin was 125,000, Solana was $150, and then the second time it was there, Solana was $250. So saying altcoins didn't get a run is ignorant. Maybe they didn't get the run you were expecting. That's okay. Maybe they will. It all depends on that 106, 98 to 102, and $92,000 Bitcoin support levels. In my opinion, personally, the psychological number for Bitcoin at 100,000, if it was to break that and not get a retest and a big push up above it, I think that the cycle is too close to the end of the year and it will most likely cause a mass sell-off. However, the bullish side is if we are able to hold those levels and altcoins get their small leg up and confirmation of a run, I will then enter low leverage longs, probably 5 to 10x leverage, being able to DCA in if we get a little lower. There will have to be a point where I eventually cut my losses and say, fuck it, I lost this trade. I had the wrong idea. Otherwise, if we are able to push up stronger, once we clear a couple liquidation levels above, I will then increase my position size on the longs and hold it until roughly the middle of November. I would like to be able to hold a long for over a month. The good thing about liquidation is when you are using something like 5x liquidation, Solana needs to move 20% in order to liquidate you. So if you are in Solana longs at $200, it has to move to $240 to liquidate you. In shorts, or vice versa for longs, it's 160. Then if we are able to push up higher, I can then increase my position. And the way that leverage works is essentially, if you buy $1 in Solana and I buy $1 in Solana on 5x leverage, I'm getting borrowed money from the exchange to buy more in my position. If it goes down 20%, I'll lose all of my money. However, if it goes up 20%, I get 5 times the amount of money that I would have made had I just bought spot like somebody else. The upside potential on that is outnumbered. I had Solana longs open at $130 and $157 and $160, and I regret closing them every single day. It would have made me millions of dollars, but instead I closed them for marginal profits, 20 to 30,000, which you guys have seen all here on TikTok because I document a majority of my large positions, so you know that I'm not full of shit. One thing about me is when I stick to something and I stand on it with my word, I'll hold my positions. So for example, if I decide that I'm going to average into a Solana short, I will use Solana because number one, the volatility in crypto, particularly in altcoins like Solana, XRP, and Ethereum, is much more bang for your buck than shorting Bitcoin. I'll use Bitcoin as an indicator, and then I will take my trades on Solana, Ethereum, and XRP. If we do get a big run up, like a $30 to $40 run in a day, which is never impossible when it comes to something like crypto, particularly Solana, I will then average into a short, hopefully being able to catch a top end area, get a retracement, and make some good profits. But those are the two situations I see pulling up. Number one, if Bitcoin can hold those levels and get a strong reversal, I'm still bullish. However, right now I'm still bearish, and if we break 100,000, I'm very much more bearish, and if we break 92,000, I'm a full-blown bear. The market's cooked. I'm convinced that peptides are the future, and I just got my new package in from Half Natty, so I'll show you guys exactly what I got. Oh! If you guys want anything, the link is in my link tree. 20% off with my code. It doesn't really matter where you get your shit as long as it's third-party tested, but this is where I get mine. These two are both nasal blends, Tri-Blend, and then C-Max and Senlink. Amazing for cognitive abilities. MK777. 6'7". Bromantane. I gotta look this up. I don't know what it is. Repair and fix TB500 and BPC oral. People who are afraid of needles, this is for you. A bottle of Prenabet. I don't know what this is, but I will look it up. Always do all your own research as well. And now all the good shit. One more bottle. This is Reduce. This is a fat burner. IPAM and tesamorelin. Injectable Reduce, which also is tesamorelin. SLU PP332. That sounds like a glizzy. BPC and TB500 combo injectable. This is Glow GHKCU, KPV and Snap 8, and Retta with SAG, CAG. Like I said, if you guys want anything, Half Natty's in the bio. Time to get even more handsome. I'm gonna run a steroid cycle for the first time in 2 years. So these are the reasons why and what exactly I'm taking. Number one reason why, low key, I lost too much weight from the Retta. Your dad's gonna get fucking jacked again. It is. You just licked my fucking tongue. 215 pounds to 184 pounds, and I look too skinny. The other reason is I've been off of steroids for 2.5 years, so my androgen receptors are super sensitive right now. And the third reason is Shane Togi had an insane fucking like 17-day transformation, and I was like, oh, bro, I really want to do that. So here's the cycle: 350 to 400 milligrams of testosterone per week, 50 milligrams of Anavar per day, and probably 200 milligrams of Mastron per week. Peptides being 4 milligrams of retatrutide a week, GHKCU for skin, and I'm gonna use the Retta with cagleritide. I wanna give that a shot. I get all my peptides from Half Natty, code Italian. Obviously still in a deficit, so some nicotine with some caffeine for hunger. This is probably gonna cost like $600-700. That was so bad. For the whole month. So let's pay for it on a hand of blackjack.